Are accounted for. Dr. Liu, will you confirm for me that you are still under oath, having sworn or affirmed to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Ms. Klein, you may continue Dr. Liu's direct examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay, Dr. Liu, I believe we finished with E, so now let's talk about gunshot wound F. Could you please tell, showing for the jury, what's in evidence as 190, what number is associated with gunshot wound F?
F is on the right breast, and it is labeled number 6.
No, Doctor, I'm going to ask you to step down. Now the jurors are close enough. Could you please indicate on here where number 6 is, and then what injury we're talking about?
Number 6 is right here, high on the right breast.
Okay, thank you. And again, Judge, I'm offering in evidence with the mark for identification of State's Exhibit 10F without objection.
No objection, Judge.
So noted. Jeanette?
State Exhibit 10F, marked for identification, now becomes State Exhibit 197.
Okay. And Dr. Liu, let's talk about number 6. Tell us where number 6 went in her body.
The projectile from this gunshot wound went between the right ribs and through the right upper lobe of lung.
I'm sorry, lower what?
Through the right upper lobe of lung.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm showing you what's in evidence, Dr. Liu, as 197. Do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and let's have you explain what that is while we show it to the members of the jury. It seems. Okay. Please tell the members of the jury what we're looking at in 197.
Number 6 for gunshot wound F is this wound right here.
Okay. Did the projectile, after you said went into the lobe of the lung, where did it rest?
It went right through the right upper lobe of lung and then just dropped inside the right chest cavity.
Okay. Is this a penetrating gunshot wound?
Gunshot wound because the projectile went in and did not come out of the body.
Okay. And is there anything unusual about the wound that's depicted there, number 6?
Number 6, as you can see, is not the unusual nice, round, typical entrance.
Okay. And what does that tell you again?
This suggests that this gunshot wound went through something else before entering the chest.
Okay. Was anything recovered as a result of this wound?
There was a projectile recovered from the right chest cavity and dropped down into the blood in the right chest cavity.
Okay. And Dr. Liu, going back to our exhibit 188. Yes. Projectile. Could you please indicate for the members of the jury which projectile was recovered from the wound?
This projectile right here, right next to A. This is from F.
Okay. You can please indicate that. Thank you, Dr. Liu. Don't get too comfy. Dr. Liu, were you able to determine the path of the projectile in this with this particular wound?
Yes, this projectile went from Miss Alfonso's front towards her back, from her left side towards her right side, and going down in her body.
Okay, and I'm going to ask you once again to please step down, and using the visual aid, please demonstrate for the members of the jury the path of this particular projectile and wound F.
Projectile went in her breast, down her back.
Okay, thank you. And could you please tell the members of the jury what would have been the immediate effect on Jennifer of this wound?
This one went through the muscles between the ribs, and of course it punctured the skin, so there would be pain. And it went right through the right lung, so that injured the lung, caused bleeding into other parts of the lung, so she would have had more difficulty breathing. And because of the blood loss, she could start feeling faint.
Okay. Okay, Dr. Liu, let's move on to gunshot wound G.
Yes.
Okay. Judge, I'm offering to evidence what's marked for identification as 10D and 10E.
With no objection, so moved?
State Exhibit 10D and 10E now become State Exhibit 198 and 199.
Yep. Dr. Liu, I am showing you what's now in evidence as 198 and 199. Do you recognize those?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and what are those?
They are photographs of the outside or the back of the left wrist and the inside of the left wrist.
Okay, and so I'm going to ask you to please step down. You can bring those with you, please. Now, wound G, is that associated with any particular number? 14. Okay. Showing the members of the jury what's in evidence as State's Exhibit 199. Please indicate which wound is wound G.
This is wound G. Right here. The hand is down here, so the wrist is right here. The elbow is up here. This is
And we're going to talk about the path of the bullet in a minute. However, were you able to determine a track as to where this bullet went?
It went right through the left forearm.
Okay, and were you able to identify a number associated with the track from 14?
Yes, on the inside of the left forearm is the exit, which is number 11.
Okay, and so I'm showing the members of the jury what's in evidence is 198. Can you indicate there?
This is exit wound 11 associated with entrance wound 14.
Now, is entrance wound 14? Is entrance wound 14 considered to be what you've described before as a penetrating gunshot?
No, in this case, because the bullet went through the left forearm, it is now a perforating gunshot wound.
Can you explain, please, what that means?
It means that the bullet came into the body and also left the body, came out of the body.
Okay, please have a seat. Now, we just talked about the track. Does that mean you were able to determine the path of the entry from 14 to 11?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you to please, using the blade, tell us what the path of that projectile was.
The path is described in the anatomical position, which means that the person is standing upright with the arms down by their sides with the palms facing forward. That is the anatomical position.
Does that mean that that's how Jennifer was when she actually received that injury?
No,
Okay, so why do you say that? Is that just for purposes of documentation, or?
for purposes of documentation.
Okay, so could you please show the members of the jury on the visual aid
Is on the back of the left forearm and comes through the forearm.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Liu. Please have a seat. Okay. Doctor, let's move on to gunshot wound H.
Yes.
Okay. And could you please tell us what number is associated with H?
Number 17 is the entrance wound on the back of the forearm, and the exit wound is on the inside of the forearm and is 13.
Okay. And could you please, if I could trouble you to step down? 198 and 199 are still on the screen for the members of the jury.
17 is the entrance wound, and 13 is the exit wound.
Okay. And Dr. Liu, are these, as you said earlier about 14 and 11, perforating gunshot wounds?
Yes, the bullet went through and through the left forearm.
Okay. And tell us, referring to the picture with 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 on it, okay, are those the entry wounds?
Yes, these are all the entrance wounds, and as you can see, they are nice entrance wounds. They're round. Now, these two are so close together, they form a figure 8, but otherwise, they are round.
Okay. And now, Dr. Liu, I'm going to ask you to step over to the dummy, please. And I'm going to ask you to please, were you able to determine the path of those?
Yes.
Okay.
The path was very similar to the previous gunshot wound G.
Okay, could you please indicate that?
Going from the back.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, Dr. Liu. And that's in the anatomical position, correct?
Yes.
And that doesn't mean that you can necessarily say her hand was in that position when she was shot, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Dr. Liu, let's talk about gunshot wounds I, J, and K.
Yes.
What numbers do those correspond to in the picture?
They correspond with numbers 15, 16, and 18 on the back of the left forearm.
Okay, and what number does it correspond to on the inside, on the front part of the forearm?
These 3 wounds, the projectiles from these came out essentially the same area. So the largest wound that you see on the inside of the left forearm is number 12, and they all came out through that area.
I'm going to ask you to please step down and please show the members of the jury on the exhibits that are on the screen still.
15, 16, and 18 are the entrance wounds. This one's not quite round because there's a piece of bone sticking out. Number 12, the largest wound on the inside of the forearm, is the common exit wound from 15, 16, and 18.
Okay. Thank you. Can I have a seat? Is there anything unusual that's associated with wound that's documented as number 18 in the pictures?
Apart from the little piece of bone sticking out?
That's,
Yes.
well, you want to show that, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have asked you to sit down, making you crazy. Can you please go up and show the members of the jury what you're referring to in terms of the bone sticking out?
Now, these 2 are nice one. This one is nice one. However, at about 6:30 o'clock position, he's right here. That is bone.
Okay, thank you. What are the injuries associated with all of these gunshot wounds to the wrist?
Both of the left forearm bones were essentially shattered. So the vessels and the muscles and the tendons were all torn.
Okay. And was anything recovered from any of these injuries documented 11 through 18?
There was a small fragment of projectile recovered.
Okay. Do you know where that was recovered from?
I believe it was associated with one of the exit wounds.
Okay. And that would be 11, 12, 13?
And exit wound number 12.
Dr. Liu, I'm going to ask you to step down. Showing you what's in evidence, State's Exhibit 188. Indicate to us which would have been the piece of projectile that came out of wound number 12.
It is this piece right here, a projectile.
Could you please tell the members of the jury what would have been the immediate effect of these 5 gunshot wounds to Jennifer?
Definitely pain and bleeding.
Can you please tell us to a reasonable degree of likelihood if she would have been likely to have been able to use her hand once those shots were put in her wrist, like that?
There are photographs that document her left hand was dangling from her left forearm, so I do not believe that she would have been able to use her left hand.
Judge, I'm offering into evidence with some more identification of State's Exhibit 10S.
Any objection?
No objection.
So moved?
And Exhibit 10S, marked for identification, that becomes State 200.
Sorry. Okay. So, Dr. Lee, you just talked about her wrist dangling. I'm showing you what's in evidence as State's Exhibit 200. Do you
Yes.
recognize that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And what are we looking at in 200?
We are looking at the left arm, including the left upper arm, the left elbow, the left wrist, and the left hand.
Okay. Let's come over to the